Hi crafters, and welcome to Technique of the Week. So for this week's technique, we're going to talk about one embossing folder 3 ways. Okay, so this is a brand new embossing folder. It is a 3D embossing folder, and it is available on May 5th in the new May to August catalog. It is called Floral Spray, and it's a big one. Here is what most embossing folders, their size. This one is called Fern and Fauna. So you can see this one is a 6x6, whereas this is a 6 by 8.5. So you're going to get 2 card fronts out of this one. Alright. There's also regular embossing folders that aren't as thick. Let me see if I have one right here. It seems like most of the embossing folders nowadays are all 3D. This one is not. Here is another that is that 6 by 8, and you can see the difference in the size. So that is going to affect, oops. So you can see how this one is much chunkier and this one is a lot thinner. Okay, so like I said, we're going to do these 3 techniques with a 3D embossing folder. First thing you need to know is which side is which. Usually with Stampin' Up, where the logo side is going to be, if you put it in here, it's going to be raised. So your card will be raised up. So and with embossing folders, I like to start with the card panel size and trim down as needed. For this one, since it does take up to a half sheet, we're going to use the full half sheet, and we'll show you the couple techniques on the other one. So we'll show you 1 or 2 techniques on this side, and then we'll show on the other one, we'll show a different technique. All right, so let's bring out my Stampin' Cut Emboss machine with the 3D embossing folders. I haven't quite learned where I'm going to put everything. All right, so with the 3D embossing folders, all you need is your platform 1 and your platform 4, which is meant for 3D embossing. Put this down here for a second. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and line this up. You can see through it. I am pushing it all the way in. Since it is a half piece of cardstock, it will go all the way from edge to edge. Make sure your plate is covering that whole folder and run it through. You will have a little resistance, not much. If it is too tight, you need to stop, because it means you have either your plate 2 or you have something else that is in the folder. Like maybe you have double pieces of paper. Maybe you have something stuck on the bottom of this. Okay, so let's show you that. Can you see how pretty that is? All right, we're going to put that one aside for now, because I'm going to do all the embossing first so I can move this out of the way, and then we'll do the techniques on them. So on this one, I want to do, on this one now, a darker color. So this is I believe this is 4.5. Yeah, this is 4.5. So we're just gonna run that through the middle. See what we want on there. All right, I think that looks good. Another thing with embossing folders, always make sure the spine, the connected part, goes through first. On the smaller embossing folders, you can send them through either binding first, or you could send them through this way. You don't ever want to do it where this is going in last, only because there could be an amount of pressure, a great amount of pressure put on that folder, and that would potentially crack your binding. All right, let's put this over here for now. We'll come back to it because I do have one other technique I want to show you. All right, so here's this. Now on this last technique, let me see if I can put it over there. I am going to take this and I am just going to take some of my brushes and I'm going to put some color down on this. All right, so let's do a red. Let's grab, I think I'll do Poppy Parade. And what you're going to do on this, I always like taking this to here. And we're going to put some colors on here. Don't worry at this point really how these look. This is going to be part of another technique. So usually we want you to smooth it out a little bit better. On this one we're telling you just to go straight to it. Where's my Flirty Flamingo? You could go direct to paper if you wanted to. I find that I like having these splotches just a little bit better. And then the last one we'll do is Daffodil. And this one will just kind of fill in all those empty spots. You're going to get where these meet, you are going to get possibly a third color. Because yellow and red make orange. Yellow and pink will make a lighter version. All right. So there's that. Doesn't look like much right now. All right, so we'll put these over to the side for now. We're going to use those again without cleaning them. All right, let's bring this back. Now on this time, we're going to put this onto the recessed part. So here you can feel the bump. I'm sorry. Here you can feel we're going to put it on the bumpy side. So here you can feel a recess. So that's going to push it up. Here we're going to have this actually be on the downside. Always have your plate on top, otherwise your folder will warp. If it's not having something hard on top of it, it will start to go like this. And there's really no coming back from it once it does that. All right, so let's go ahead. Put this back over here. And now you're going to see that color is on the inverted part of it. All right, so we're going to do this one first. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take a dark color stamp pad. You're going to use this edge here, and you're going to go across just being aware of how much pressure. I'm not putting on hardly any pressure. And your fingers will get a little messy. I should have brought out my tweezers. I am not pushing down, I'm just skimming over the top. You are going to get some residual darkness in some areas. All right, so there's what it looks like. Now if I put more pressure on, and I'm afraid to almost, I'm afraid I'm going to get too much dark in there, but if I don't like how that's seeping through there, I would just go ahead and come over here and do just a little bit more pressure. I'm using the edge here to get around that edge. All right. I was using Secret C. I don't know if I said that before. All right. Let's put this over here. I am going to let it dry for just a little bit, but there you have the results. And look how spectacular that looks. Now, if you wanted to go into like those leaves, you could take a green brush after it dries. Again, it's not very dry right now, but you could take a green brush and then go in and get those leaves and make them more green if you wanted to. All right, let's put that off on the side to dry. Let me go ahead and spray, spray my desk as well as my fingers. Get that ink off. All right. I do not have sensitivity to alcohol. That's why I can spray it straight on my hand. Some people are sensitive to alcohol and to hand sanitizer, so just be careful if that is you. All right. So let's go back to this one. This is the one where we did a card. Here we can take our white pad and do essentially the same thing. Oh, I must have had some alcohol left, or I got alcohol sprayed on there. See how that's wet there? All right, this is kind of along the same thing. We're coming in with this. And we're doing it on the raised side. After that, if you wanted to, you could take clear embossing powder, because this will take a while to dry, so we're not going to cut it right now. But you could take dry embossing powder, clear embossing powder, and spray it over there, and then you would have, again, that white shiny look. So here was on the raised side, here was on the recessed side. All right, let me get my alcohol out again. Clean that off. All right. The last technique I'm going to show you, oh, I need to clean off my hands. I still have white on them. Sorry. There we go. Cleaned off. All right, last one. We're going to take the residual amount from here and we're going to apply it in a very light. You see I'm doing it very light. Hanging on to the end of the brush. I'm going with my lightest color first. So I'm putting in yellow where I want it. And this is just that leftover yellow from making that dark background on the other technique. All right. So I think there I have enough of the yellow on there. Now I'm going to come in with the pink. Oops, again, I want to hang on to the handle a little bit more away. I'm just skimming over those parts because you see I'm not getting a lot on that background area. And just covering some more in there. I'm going to go back with that yellow now with a little bit more pressure and get it on that flower. Now we'll come in with the red, which is going to be the main flower here. We're really getting that covered up. Let's come, oops, my little, oh, all right, it's on the floor. Probably end up stepping on it. I'm going to come in a little bit deeper and get that pink on there. You can see that I have some overlap there, so that yellow is now turning into an orange. If I come back over, you're not going to erase that red, but you can kind of bring it down a little. All right, so now the last thing, oh, let me get those little bluebells there. All right, so the only thing I have left right now is my leaves. Now, if you wanted a much darker look, you would ink these up. You would re-ink these up. All right, I'm hoping I have something left on this green, but I'm not sure. And I don't. All right. I am going to, I want to be careful on this. So I'm going to put color on, but I'm going to take some off. Now let's come back on here. And there we go. Now I'm getting into those greens. If I wanted to use one of the smaller brushes, I could. If I didn't want it to go over to the other flowers, I'm okay with this blending into the other flowers. If you think it's getting too light, you can pick some more up. Go both ways. Go clockwise and counterclockwise so you catch all of those edges. Now I'm putting my hand, since a lot of the green is gone, I'm now putting my finger. I'm not really pressing hard, but I'm applying some pressure onto that to get the last of that green on those leaves. Again, see here, I went too far, and now my green and red is making a brown. colors opposite of each other on the color wheel do not like blending together. They will turn into a brown mess. I'm going to see if I can bring some of this back by introducing that red. All right, I'm going to stop here. But there you have then coloring it. I suggest when you cut something that's already been embossed that you use a guillotine trimmer of some sort versus your paper trimmer, because these raised areas, that blade is more than likely to try to catch and it won't look as crisp. All right, so, and of course you can always do a tone on tone. Excuse me. You can always emboss in white and put it on white for just that embossed look. Looks really good on wedding cards, anniversary cards, because it just looks like what the old time, when we used to, do people still buy wedding invites out of a book? I did. Sorry. I know I did when we got married, but then we had a surprise wedding, so it didn't really matter. All right, so here we have really 4 different ways, because you could just have this white on white and not have colored this. But here you have adding color after embossing. Here you have adding white after embossing. Here you have putting down color and then making this on the recess side, excuse me, and then going over it with a dark ink pad. All right, guys, that's your technique for this week using 3D embossing folders. Thanks for watching. Give me that thumbs up if you don't mind. I'm within 17, I'm under 20 people left that need to subscribe so I can hit 500, which is my personal goal. So if you have a friend who likes techniques or likes more simplistic cards, have them go ahead and look at my channel. If they like what they see, have them sign up and subscribe. As always, have a great week. I hope that the weather holds out for you guys. And we're going into Mother's Day weekend, I think next weekend. I'll have to look. I'll probably still record. I don't plan on going anywhere. But just have a safe week, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.